Apple is set to release its quarterly earnings after the closing bell. Wall Street's looking for earnings per share of $2.36 on revenue of $57.4 billion. Here with us now to break down is Santosh, head of research at Manhattan Venture Partners. Santosh, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
They have a lot to live up to, don't they? I mean, the stock has added about $300 billion in market cap since, I guess, the low in January. And we're trying to understand whether or not that's warranted, that big rise.
Yeah, I think it's run up quite a bit, but I think there are good reasons for that. Last quarter was a bad quarter. They're coming off that. So I think the comparison to the last quarter is going to be much better. But overall, I think China, which is their sacred cow, which is where, that's where they need to perform, that I think is doing well. They discounted the prices, they rationalized the prices on the XR. So that's going to be good. So we'll see some good results there. So the bigger issue is Apple needs iPhone. Whether it's XR or XS, they need that. They need to keep people in their ecosystem. People are delaying their refresh cycles, to get new phones. So I think they need to keep them there for their services business to grow also. So I think they're all related. They need to keep in there. So I think they have rationalized their prices there in China, and that should come out good.
When do you expect the first Apple 5G phone to hit the market?
Well, I think it's going to be delayed. It's not going to come in September, I'm sure, because they haven't really started. They've been late on. But Apple always comes late, but they get it done. They do it right.
They're not always first to market, you're right.
They're not first to market, but they get it right and they capture the market. So I think that's going to be their strategy.
But they also just settled with Qualcomm, the patent suit. So you would think they would be getting what they need for the 5G phone from Qualcomm.
Absolutely.
Now.
I'm sure it's speeded up the timeline for them. And that was a good settlement. It takes a big hurdle out of the way. So I think that's good for Qualcomm, good for Apple. So we'll see how it goes forward.
This move in Apple, is it more fundamentally oriented, or are people just positioning for a big new stock buyback plan and a dividend hike? I've heard some estimates looking for at least a 10% dividend hike here.
Yes, I think that's going to be a big part of the conference call. We want to see what their plan is on capital, kind of rationalizing their capital base. So I think we'll hear that. They need to do that. They have a lot of cash. They're huge. The growth is kind of tapering off at the high end. So I think they need to kind of return some money back to the shareholders, which they will announce. That's a big part of that. Plus, they have a number of levers. They have a lot of cash. They're a big company. They're best of breed in their category. So they will rationalize. They have a number of levers to pull down the road. So we'll see how they come out.
I want to get to Google, parent company Alphabet, out with earnings. Do you think that this latest quarter basically showed them that, there's competition out there for ad dollars? You're not the only game in town, Google.
Absolutely. I think that was a big surprise. And I think that really is a little scary because it's been a giant in this business. Yeah. Them growing revenue 20% plus has been taken for granted. It always did. So for the first time falling below that, and more than that, the ad revenue falling at 15% growth, that's very bad because that's their strong point. So I think they'll come back, though. I mean, they've said FX was the reason. They're changing their products around. So there's a good reason. I think it's going to give good entry points because Google is another company. They have a number of levers to pull. You have Waymo down the road. It's a multi-trillion-dollar opportunity. They'll come back. They'll rationalize it. The YouTube, which was, I think, the bigger concern. That's why the stock is selling off. That, I think, is a cause for concern, but they said that can be fixed as well. That's just a work in progress there.